I want to know what the hell is going on.
3, 2, 1.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Nobody
All right.
hit
Welcome
themselves.
Nobody hit themselves. There were no ouches, no injuries, no blood drawn.
Never gonna
At
live
least
that one down.
I'm so thankful that we are an audible medium so that if there is blood drawn, nobody knows. So as far as you can tell, listener, everybody is of good health. Welcome to Screen Share and Chill. My name is Kelly.
I'm Keith.
And I'm Jamie.
We're a trio of friends that likes to force each other to watch movies, and we roll the wheel of doom to figure out what we're going to watch. And right now we are in, we got two real wild ones. We got the era we are drawing from is ancient/retro, and the genre is free pick. So basically any genre as long as it was before 1980. I picked Out of the Past, the noir detective film from the 40s, and this is now Keith's turn. Keith, what'd you pick?
Well, I picked Jaws, the seminal blockbuster film, the basically slasher movie, the movie that put Steven Spielberg on the map from 1975.
Did you guys hear that? It's like every time somebody says the word Jaws, there it is. Yeah. John Williams, you brilliant bastard.
Uh-huh. Wonderful.
So tell us a little bit about it. Why'd you pick Jaws? Why this old fogey movie about a fish?
Jaws is one of my top 3 films of all time. I think if you asked me right now what my top 3 films are, I would say Jaws, Empire Strikes Back, and John Carpenter's The Thing. I regularly trade John Carpenter's Halloween in and out with The Thing, depending on the breeze or the temperature in the room or whatever for my top 3 films. But
no Matrix, no Lord of the Rings.
Not in my top 3. No, those are certainly top 5 and top 10s, but my personal top 3 are like I said, right now, John Carpenter's The Thing, Jaws, and Empire Strikes Back.
That means Jamie still has yet to see one of your top 3 movies.
It's true. We're going to rectify that at some point. Maybe.
I mean, I hadn't seen this one, so.
Yep.
So someday, Jamie, you will see
what was
Thing.
the first? So, I have seen Empire.
Yeah.
I have seen Empire. I like Empire. I don't know that I'd put it in my top 3, but it's so convenient that you picked one of your top 3.
Fuck out of here.
When I'm going to pick one of my top 3 for next week. So you know.
Look, that's a discussion for another time.
It's a beautiful day. The beaches are open, and people are having a wonderful time. Amity is a summer town. I don't think you appreciate the gut reaction people have to these things. You yell barracuda, you're racist, huh? You yell shark, we've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What we are dealing with here is a perfect engine, an eating machine.
We're here to talk about Steven Spielberg's Jaws, which I believe is his 3rd film, and the first 2 films I think he made were like made for TV stuff.
It may be his second. I guess it depends on how you characterize it, because the Wikipedia article, when I read it, it said this was his second. But yeah, second or third. Either way, like very early on in his career, he was so afraid due to how long it went and how far it went over budget and all the bullshit that came from this movie. He was afraid that he was never going to work again in Hollywood. He thought that this was his last hurrah. And go figure it. Pole vaulted him into complete stardom.
Right, because just the everyone knows, but we'll reiterate that the fucking...
That would be like finding out Michael Jordan before his flu game. He was like, honestly, deep down, I thought we were going to fucking lose.
All right.
You know, really? MJ?
Think about it from his perspective. He's making this movie. He's got a script. They spent all this money on this big mechanical shark, and the fucking thing never works because the salt water from actually shooting in the ocean and shit is like eroding the motors and like eating through the rubber, and they can never show
Who
the
would have
fucking
thought
thing.
that salt water would get into this beastie? Who could have thought?
In the ocean? Like, that's so weird.
Yeah, it just kind of came out of nowhere. Up until that point, the Earth had been covered in fresh water, and because of this filming,
Yep.
So
It was a chemical reaction with the water and the shark that made all of the oceans salinated.
damn you, Spielberg!
But just imagine you're creating something, right? It's your job to film this, and nothing is fucking working, and you're constantly having to improvise and shoot around it.
And your actors are yelling at each other. And it's just miserable.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, act happy for 5 minutes.
And it's amazing what we got from that, because we discussed it while we were watching it, and everyone often says, like, the fact that you don't see the shark as much as was intended is what sort of makes the movie work. Like, he is very, very clever, and we're going to talk about the things that he did to replace the shark not being available, and it just builds tension through the entire fucking movie in one of the best ways.
It's funny that not only was Steven Spielberg worried about not getting another job in Hollywood after his, in his opinion, completely fumbling this project, but also it was so bad that they had allotted 58 days, I forget, but it was in the 50s, and they wanted to finish filming at this exact date because there was a Writers Guild contract negotiation that was coming up, and if there was going to be a strike, it would have been on day 59, or basically like 1 or 2 days after where they had given him the hard deadline. And they said, this is not one of those usual Hollywood deadlines, this is a hard deadline, you do not go over that. Well, he went 100 days over the deadline, but they also figured out a kind of weird way to get around the negotiations, that they made sure that they had signed the book writer on to do the screenplay, which he admitted, he goes, I have no idea how to fill out characters in a screenplay the way I would in a book. So like, I'll give you ideas, I'll write the shit down, but somebody else has got to come in and fix it afterwards. He was a very good sport about it. So they got him to sign off and do the screenplay really early, and then Spielberg and the other guys that were involved in the writer's room, I don't have it in front of me, Peter Benchley was the original author, and Carl Gottlieb. So they got together and they fleshed out these scenes. But because the screenplay was technically done before it wouldn't have been affected by any kind of Writers Guild strike that might have happened. I don't even know if one actually did happen that year, but and because of that, because he was so worried, once we got to like day 130, 140, he was literally calling the studio and saying, please take me off of this project. Like, I get it. I fucked it up. I took it way over budget. It's not working out. Bring somebody else in to clean up my work and just get me off of this project, please. And the studio said, no, you are beholden to your contract. Your contract says you're going to fucking show up. You're going to fucking show up. And he's like, all right. And when it was all said and done, he said, I wanted one more scream after I saw a lot of the pre-screeners. I wanted one more scream. So he filmed on his own money, $3,000 of his own money or whatever it was, that he filmed the scene where they find the one guy's dead body inside the boat that's submerged. I forget, Henderson or whatever his name is.
Ben Gardner.
Yeah, Ben Gardner. Yeah, they find his face, and that he paid for that himself to be added to the edit later on. And obviously the rest is kind of history. Now Spielberg is a household name, and Jaws is considered the first real big summer blockbuster.
And it is a horror movie. There's no, like, people refer to it as a classic and a blockbuster. Jaws is a horror movie. It's practically a slasher movie.
I saw somebody say that it went from horror to suspense when they took the shark out.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit.
And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, so if you're going to argue horror versus thriller versus suspense, I'm like, yeah, that's semantic mud.
Yeah,
I don't want
right.
It's whatever you want to call it, man. You know,
Right.
if you feel more comfortable calling it horror, sure, you do what you got to do. Thumb in the middle, do what you want.
To me, it is definitely horror. It's a suspense horror, but it's still horror.
4 years later, when Alien comes out, it was often referred to as Jaws in space. That's kind of what they called, like, Ridley Scott has said, I want to make Jaws in space. And
Well, yeah, and isn't that kind of a horror movie, is that you spend the first half or 2/3 of the movie building up the big bad evil guy, and you get little glimpses of them off screen,
And
but
you
you
get the
see
payout,
the aftermath of their evil. Yeah, and then eventually, for the last half hour or 20 minutes, or sometimes longer, it's the big confrontation between our heroes, which most of them always die, except for one, maybe two that are left over at the end. And that's exactly what happens with this. If I sound like I just described Halloween and Freddy and all these other movies, that's the same as Jaws. The only thing is Jaws doesn't have any one-liners. But neither does fucking Jason, does he? So what does it matter?
I'm just saying that every time you say Jaws in space, all I can think of is pigs in space and the Muppets. Every time.
Just to show you how things can turn around on you, as Spielberg was, wanted to be removed from this movie. The budget was $9 million. Its box office was $495 million in 1975. That is absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the news story I heard the other day about this new movie, or not new, but newer-ish movie that came out, Obsession. That their budget was like, I don't know, something extremely low, and they've made like 300 million. So it's like a 20 times return on investment dollars, which is unheard of in Hollywood. And that's what I saw these numbers for Jaws, and I'm like, oh, so it's kind of like that. Yeah, got it.
Well, do we have anything more to say about the preamble, or can we talk about it? I want to talk about this fucking movie because I love this fucking movie.
Yeah, let's talk
I think
about
we can
it.
be done.
Everything else we can just kind of we can bring it into.
All right, let's talk about the good.
Right off the bat, I need to bring up John Williams,
Of
his
course,
music,
of
the
course.
score, iconic.
Right.
And the funny thing is that like I brought up quickly to you all after the movie, and I'm going to reiterate for all of our friends listening now, the score, you think of the score as da-dun, 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 da, and that's all you think of. And yeah, that is iconic. And of course, it's something that it's so simple and efficient that I love that for it. But that is such a small part of this entire score. This score goes places, and it takes you on a little journey, and he's not afraid to get jaunty or to get full-on like romantic with some of his chords, even though there's not really an on-screen romance to speak of other than, well-established ones. His score is phenomenal. We talked about how there were parts where it sounded almost like a pseudo-pirate shanty. Some of it sounded... I mean, you have the full orchestral strings pulling up, and then even like when they're going on their adventure, like aside from the pirate shanty stuff, there was also like some sweeping adventure type music that was on par with Indiana Jones and Superman and all these other scores that you know him for.
Because while he's doing the adventure music, it'll swing back down into the dun 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 dun, dun, and it's fucking so good. All of it is so good.
Spielberg himself said that the movie would be nowhere near as big of a deal as it was without John Williams' score.
Yeah.
He said the score does over 50% of the lifting. I think it's something like that.
Copyright strike be damned. Insert snippets of score here, right? I mean, we have...
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I want to hear some good from Jamie before I get into my... Because I have a very long list of good, so you guys fire off a few, please.
I will say that I don't have a lot of notes overall at all because I kind of got like into watching the movie. It's kind of hard to remember. You need to write notes sometimes. But my very first good note is, that's some bad hat, Harry, because it sounded so familiar, and I like instantly stuck in my head because it's Bryan Singer's production company, Bad Hat Harry Productions, which produced The Usual Suspects, House, the X-Men franchise.
That's right, House, because I was like, I know there's a show that I have watched a million times that has the Bad Hat Harry at the end of the episode.
Too bad that it's Bryan Singer's fucking production company, huh?
You know what? There are some good movies that Harvey Weinstein was the producer of. Fuck him and fuck anything that he does, and I don't want him any success in anything in life from here out. But I'm still gonna watch Pulp Fiction, even though Quentin Tarantino's kind of a shitheel too. I'm still gonna watch Pulp Fiction sometimes.
Sure.
Whatever. I'm not gonna go out and buy a Pulp Fiction themed nightstand for $1,000.
It's like a little stink on top of a a cool
of course.
thing.
But fucking House MD, oh my God! One of these days, maybe year 15 of our podcast, we're doing a deep dive of House. I would love to. As a bunch of people with absolutely no medical training, I think it would be wonderful. We'd be able to call bullshit.
It's not sarcoidosis.
All right,
it's never lupus.
I need one more from each of you before I get started.
I have a couple more that I want to hit.
God,
right
I
off
hope
the top.
so. Jesus.
The second note I have is the second attack sequence. The way that is shot is phenomenal.
Oh, with the kid?
Yes.
With the little boy?
Yep.
Yeah.
And all the people in the legs.
That caught me off guard. That got me. Yep.
Because it's like, I want to talk, that's one of mine, and I want to talk extensively about it, because it's like, we see the
He's so excited, Jamie.
POV.
You gotta love it.
I'm sorry, I'm very exuberant.
Yes.
No, it's a good thing, my friend. Go run with it.
So we've seen the attack before, right? Like the woman at the beginning who gets slung around. Mm-hmm. We see the shark's POV, and it comes right up to, it's going right up to the raft that the kid is on, and then it cuts back to this, it pulls back to this wide, super far out shot, and you just see this shape of this shark, like you can't even really tell.
And the camera's on the horizon, it's on eye level with everything, so you're seeing all the people obscuring your view, and you can get little glimpses of motion behind there, just as if you were standing on the beach or swimming a little ways away.
And it was monstrous, like the size of it, and it just rolls with this kid in its mouth, and you just see like a fin and like blood shooting up into the air, and it is short enough that your brain is like, what the fuck did I just see?
And then you shoot to Roy Schneider up on the beach, and the foreshortening, just instant panic.
Foreshortening, isn't that what you use to make biscuits? Right?
No, that's 5 shortening.
The feel of 5 shortening gum.
And Chief Brody, he was already on edge right there. He saw like that guy swimming, and he like stands up and like, oh, it's just a swimmer with a bad hat Harry coming out of the water with his black bald cap or whatever, because he knows about the shark attack, and the fucking mayor is like, we got to keep the beaches open.
Don't tell people. Yeah. Don't tell people.
Right.
It's important we keep the beaches open.
And so then
we're a summer town. We have to keep the beaches open.
Then it fucking happens, and it's somehow gruesome without overshowing its hand, and it's also just like it's an amazing shot. It's something that has sat with me since the first time I saw it.
It's another thing in these 80s movies where the villain is the government.
Yeah. Yeah.
We noticed it in the 80s movies before, but it's
Weyland-Yutani. It's the company, you know, it's yeah.
Well, I mean, it goes even different. Like when we did Ghostbusters, and their primary villain was not only the ghost, but the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, the people that are supposed to keep the climate from warming. Those are the real bad guys. Much like in this situation, the mayor is the bad guy. I mean, obviously, he's the bad guy. It's not just he's doing his job. But it's interesting that we have 2 villains in this movie. A bloodthirsty shark, and the politician in charge of the town. Oh,
I thought you were going to say a bloodthirsty shark, and then the cold-blooded fish in the ocean.
And then the fish in the water with fins that is chewing on children. Yeah. I would like to say that Quint is Popeye's dad.
I can see it.
If not, maybe his son. I don't know, but he's related. He and Popeye share a same vernacular. They share same mannerisms. His forearms aren't quite as big, but if you told me that character also played Popeye in the musical before Robin Williams was hired, I would have believed you. He could have taken Robin Williams for a run just because he's so much like Popeye.
Right. Like, look, he was Popeye's dad, and he didn't have enough forearm muscle, and that's why he died, so Popeye's forearms had to get bigger.
Yes.
Popeye
watched him die to the shark. Arr, the shark!
And if he could have held on a little bit longer...
If he'd only eaten his spinach.
Let's talk about Quint, right? Well, great performance by Robert Shaw. Kelly, you said that when he's first introduced, you're like, he's larger than life, almost cartoonish. And then he kind of...
Yeah, I didn't like him at first.
Yeah, he kind of grows into himself as a character. But what I want to say is he's there living in Louisiana. I know so many people that go out on shrimp boats and boats and whatnot, and that is a real dude down here, like 500 times over. Like,
well, and when I said bigger than life, it's more like he was a little bit cartoony in a world that seemed otherwise pretty grounded. So like everybody's just trying very hard to fit into the status quo, and you get this guy that literally should have a corncob pipe He's like, matey, you're gonna go for a ship on my ship, and it's like, okay,
but
sure.
It's more New England-y, right? It's a little more New England.
But also the problem was that I just didn't like him.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
I didn't like him as a character. But then I stopped caring whether I liked him or not, and then I enjoyed his character more. And that's that the switch was like me, like letting him into the world and also not giving a fuck if he was a good guy, because he ends up dying at the end anyways. So yeah, Ahab, you die at the end of this novel. I don't know if you read Moby Dick.
Of course.
And I part of me starts to respect him just a little bit, just because it's like, okay, this motherfucker is like he's pretty fucking hardcore, right? He's crazy as fuck, but he is pretty hardcore, and he is about that fucking shark killing life. So he should have
been brought up on charges if they made it out alive for breaking that radio.
Yeah,
there's no reason to do that, man.
Reckless endangerment.
If you're trying to make things more difficult, if you're trying to up your difficulty for this mission, partner, why don't you just go ahead and jump in the water? Go ahead.
Or do it by yourself. You don't need partners.
Yeah, you can do it. Why'd you need to bring us with you? Fuck off. Fuck you. And that's one of the goods. Fuck you. All right, any of the other goods?
This has all still been your goods. So let me say one of the first things that I noticed this time, because we watch these movies differently when we're watching for the pod. It's true.
Oh, yeah.
Right off the bat, Steven Spielberg showing his chops is when Chief Brody wakes up on the first day, and he's talking to his wife, and they're looking for the kids in the yard, and the telephones are in the foreground, and he gets the phone call. It's when they're calling to say, a body has washed up on shore. And he's with his family, and then he leaves them to go to the phone, steps into the foreground, and now his family is in the background, and it's close up on him and his face and what his face does and everything as he gets the phone and the message. And just the way it's framed is like, just fucking perfect, like that. The transition from back there talking to his family to the
family
foreground
doesn't matter as much anymore.
Right.
The family are fading into the background to him as much as they are to us.
Yeah, it's such good directing chops. You could shoot that scene 50 different ways and not have it be as dynamic as that, and it's just that kind of little thing that Spielberg knocks out of the park.
I agree. I have all their notes like that, so.
Why don't you give us a couple, Keith? Because I know you're probably dying. So in order to keep this episode under 3 hours, why don't you rattle off a few?
Example one of replacing the shark that doesn't work, and really, it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, is the guys on the dock with the roast who are like, hey, we're gonna get the shark. And they don't know what they're dealing with. They don't know what a monster this is. So they throw it, they're on that rickety ass dock, and they throw the roast out on a hook. And they're like, oh, hey, look, he's taking it. And it just fucking rips the dock in half and pulls that guy out, 200 feet.
That was also foreshadowing to what was going to happen to the orca later on.
Exactly.
Like, Quint has the same thing happen to him. He thinks his ship is too big. He thinks that those flotation barrels are too big. Well, not too big for Jaws or whatever they're naming the shore.
So it pulls this guy out, and then he's swimming back, and then we see the fucking dock turns around. And there's a lead on that chain, right? So that thing is right fucking behind him, like the distance of the dock behind him, and it's coming at him. The squeaky noises his feet are making on what's left of the dock when he's pulling him up. It's like the tension in that scene to me is just like, whoa, man! It's fucking like it was right behind him, and I love it.
I can't let you go any further without mentioning.
What?
yeah. Please insert sound. Let's insert sound clip here. The when they catch the tiger shark, and he tells them, "What kind of shark is it?" And Richard Dreyfuss says, "It's a tiger shark." And that burly New
Fisherman
England
dude.
Yeah, he turns around and he goes, what?
You would not expect it coming out of that.
Yeah, since you don't expect it. My friend, I showed you guys the shirt. My friend has that shirt, and it's just a picture of him, and it says, what? And like arcing text over it. It's so good.
Oh, that's why I couldn't let you go any further without mentioning it, because that's my third note.
That's awesome. Also, I love the little line on the dock scene when Richard Dreyfuss, Hooper is the character's name, shows up to he's the Oceanographic Institute guy, shark expert that they call in. He's standing on the dock. Everybody,
Richard Dreyfuss, Dr. Holland.
Mr. Holland. Put some respect on his name, sir. And his opus. He's standing there on the dock, and he's telling those people that, hey, the sheriff told me that you guys there's too many of you going in that boat, and they're like disregarding him. And then he's like, hey, I'm new in town. Where's a good hotel or a bar? And they say, oh, you walk straight ahead. Which is when he's standing on the edge of the dock, they're like, jump in the ocean, pal. Fuck you.
Right.
It's just a nice little line that I wrote down that I appreciate.
Speaking of Richard Dreyfuss, if I didn't know he was in there and hear his voice, I would never have recognized that was Richard Dreyfuss.
He's very young.
Yeah. Looks very different.
He's young, but his hairstyle, he's got like short curly hair and a short curly beard, and it's kind of like reddish. He's got these little beady glasses, and it's just his mannerisms. He's very visually very different than the Richard Dreyfuss that whatever you're thinking of him from, he looks very different here.
Yes.
Unless you're thinking of Jaws, then speaking of really cool lines, I loved how Quint, I think, at one point was talking. They were doing a toast, and he said he was celebrating his third wife's Demise.
Yeah.
That whole sentence, I'm like, whoa. Yeah. You can't say that sentence like that and not expect me to ask, what?
Yeah. That could be an ongoing sound clip now, right?
Right along with, it's all right, it's okay.
It's something to live for.
Yeah, because like your third wife died. I assume you meant Demise with Demise. So your third wife died. That's a little fucked up.
Yeah.
You're celebrating it. That's a little fucked up. And why are you pronouncing that word like that? What do you mean, Demise?
Man, speaking of Quinn again, I can't think of him without thinking of my good longtime friend Jared, who is a boat guy, and he's into like racing and sailing and fishing on the boat, and he grew up in the bayou on the boat. And one of the things he always says, just randomly, when we're out on the boat, he'll look at me and he'll go, "Hooper drives the boat, Chief." And he's Quint. He literally is that guy. He's an asshole, but he's like, there's a little bit of charm to him. And I can't think of Quint without thinking of my friend Jared.
I really appreciate that New York nice. Maybe it's because I'm from Detroit, so we have a little bit more of the East Coast. But you know how they say New York? In New York, they'll be nice. New York nice is basically, I will help you out, but I'm going to give you shit the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas in LA, I'm going to be nice to your face, but I'm not going to help you.
Right.
Nice versus kind. Keith and I were just having this conversation.
Yeah. Nice is not equal to kind.
And Quint is, overall, he's a well-meaning, he's like Mills from Seven in a way, because like he means well. His heart, I think, is in the right place. I don't know. His third wife's Demise might bring that to question a little bit.
But you don't know. Maybe she was an abusive bitch. You don't know.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's very common for a man that drinks all the time and sails, that he was probably very openly communicative and supportive of his wife in the 70s.
He might have also found an alcoholic woman who was really into her job. You never know.
Yeah, she just fell off the boat. She just fell off the boat, Chief. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
She got really drunk and she fell off the goddamn boat.
When the kid's mom walks up to Chief Brody and slaps him and tells him, you knew and you kept the beaches open. Now we have the ultimate motivation for him, right? He's got pure guilt now. He's seen the effect of what he has essentially thinks he has allowed to happen, and he is in it to stop this now. You can see the look on his face and the realization, and it's just, that is a very powerful moment to me. He somewhat, the mayor says like, she's wrong, and he says no, she isn't.
Two things though. One, that is not in my good. But also two, here we are with those ancient movies and all the slapping again.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, what is up with people? Keep your hand, and you're slapping the police chief? Oh my God, that lady would have been thrown to the ground. Stop resisting.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so was she right that they, i.e. the government, to blame? Yes. Was he particularly right? Or was he wrong? No, he tried. Like, and if he were a lesser man, if he were a more petty man, he would have said, lady, I tried. The mayor wouldn't let me do it. Giving her a million excuses and reasons why. And they would have been justified too. Like if he did that, I'd have been like, yeah, I probably would have in his position. Mm-hmm. I would have said, listen, I tried to close the motherfucker down. This son of a bitch isn't letting me do it.
You can tell.
Why you yell at him,
but you can
slap
see.
him.
You can see that he instantly feels like shit. I didn't do enough. I didn't push hard enough.
Right.
This is my fault.
I fully see that he says that. I know people that would do the same thing, that would still take the blame regardless of whether or not it was their call to make.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get why he does it. I'm just saying, for the record, I think we all would agree that, no, it's not your fault, man. Like, if he were a real person, I'd been there saying, like, dude, it's not your fault. You tried. Like, me, yeah, you can always make the argument I could have tried differently, or I could have tried harder. I could have done a backflip when I got home, too. It's good for your back. I don't fucking know, but you did well with what you had. You tried. You were a force for good. It didn't work. Next time, try something different, or try harder. I get it, but... yeah, he wasn't the villain in this story, at least not to us. Maybe his family that's fading into the background, he might have been. But...
yeah. I fully enjoyed Richard Dreyfuss's character stealing the chief's plate of food.
Oh yeah, he just walks in and takes it. Anybody eating that? Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun.
There's a lot in that little scene. Like I remarked while we were watching it, how good of a drunk Roy Schneider is at playing, because he's got that dull look on his face, and he takes the bottle and opens it on his own, cognition, and then pours a huge fucking glass of it.
Because some people, when they're drunk, they gain a lot of energy and they become more boisterous and they come out of their shell. Some people, they retreat a little bit into themselves. And I remember I got a note from an acting coach years and years and years ago, and they said, the big problem that a lot of people do when they try to act drunk is they act drunk. They forget that the one thing a drunk person wants to do is to not look drunk. No matter how drunk you are, you want to seem less drunk than you actually are. You don't want anybody to know how bad you're off. So, like, you see these people, I know these people from working in bars and friends. I was not this kind of person, surprisingly, I'm sure, to everybody. But there are some kinds of people that when they get drunk, they just retreat inside. They retreat inside themselves, but they do it in a way that they just slow down.
Mm-hmm.
They will speak, but they will think long and hard. So if you're the kind of person that talks a lot, they'll just let you just keep talking while they're just sitting there holding their drink.
Well,
their
you
drink
know all
is
of
held
these
very
people.
securely. Oh yeah, well, I mean, and I was a bartender,
right.
So like, it's kind of my job to tell, like, if there was some dude at the bar that he doesn't want to be talked to, it's not my job to annoy his fucking ear off. I'm assuming if you're listening to this podcast, it's some way you might want to hear some things I have to say, so I feel a little bit more enabled to keep talking now that I wouldn't, if you're at my bar, I'd just be like, all right, you cool? All right, bye. And I'd go hang out somewhere else and leave you alone. But yeah, he's I've seen his type a million times, and I'm 100% in agreement with you. I'm sorry to go on that long tangent to agree with you, but 100%. I've seen that hundreds of times in the bar, that exact guy.
Okay, stop everything. Shut it down. The numbers are in. I got the numbers right here.
What did we do?
I got the numbers right here, and it says
what
that
numbers?
We've been doing this show for 2 years and have no money and have made no money off of it. This can't be right.
Can't we do the show for no years and have 2 money?
That would be ideal, yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is not the case.
Well, the good news is that we did get a review in, and from one of the dozens of listeners that have said something about our show, they said some really nice things. I'm just going to go ahead and read it to y'all. It says, 5 stars. I love the timing of the sound effects. Very rare to hear that on a podcast. Very cool. Are you doing that in post? So impressive. So many podcasts ramble on and on about the stuff not related to the show and the things no one could possibly care about. What they had for lunch yesterday, what happened at the eye doctor, a call they had from a friend, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. Stay on content. But you do. You have fun. You all get along. You keep the show moving, and most of all, you're likable. I love you guys. Oh, dear listener, we love you too.
Oh my goodness,
I feel so warm.
That's
and fuzzy inside.
You like me. You really like me.
That's almost as good as money.
Almost as good as money, but I tried paying my my bills with "I love you guys," and they just hung up.
Yeah, they didn't take too kindly to that.
It was weird. It got really weird when I told that to my landlords. I don't recommend it, but I do recommend going on to our social media and discussing the shows. You can find us on YouTube, Blue Sky, Insta, Facebook, basically anywhere you could want us to be. We're there, and we will chat back with you. But we're most active where?
We are most active on our Discord. So come join us, revel with us, tell us how wrong we are about movies, tell us how right we are about movies. post your memes, you kids and your little memes. Bring them on. Give us the old 6-7. Do whatever you have to do.
6-7.
We're bored, so we're watching and monitoring our socials at all times, and there's crickets playing, and we want you there with us to hear the crickets.
Come join us for a parasocial relationship that actually gives back.
Yes.
We'll actually respond to you, unlike some of your favorite podcasters. Right. For now, I mean, until we get super famous, and then we won't have time for that. But for now, for a limited time, you can get a response from us.
Act now for a limited time.
And if you want us to respond to you, a great way to do that is by giving us money. We love money, don't we? I love money.
I actually hate money, but
I just like all the things it allows me to do.
Kelly and I money. Keith does not want money, just to be clear. Keith is...
don't get it twisted. Did not say that. But money allows us to make the show more comfortably, and maybe one day the dream to give old Kelly a break, hire an editor. That would be wonderful. And there's lots of ways that you can give us money. Jamie, why don't you tell them what they can do?
You can go to Ko-Fi and you can rent us a movie, or force us to watch a movie and review the movie. We've ended our years of series now, so it's time for something new and fresh, and you can help decide that direction by paying us to watch a movie of your choice. We don't promise to like it, but we promise to watch it.
And talk about it.
And of course, if you see any of us in person, you can just hand us cash. We don't care. We'll take that.
So I guess the message is that we're wonderful, 5 stars, and a couple of our listeners absolutely love us.
And give us money.
You should too.
Give us the money. Give us the money.
Oh God, Al's here.
All right.
But for now, thank you for listening to us. We appreciate all your support, whether it's in the form of review or just joining Discord and talking to us, or just listening to the podcast, because that's the reason why we do it. But in the meantime, let's get back to the show.
The second big shark attack, when they think it's, they have the kid doing the psych out and everybody's on alert, but the shark has gone into the pond this time where no one is looking, and it's kind of our first glimpse at it, but it's just through the top down shot, and it's in the water, and it's coming at that guy, and it's fucking huge, and you just see it slowly, mechanically, like a shark, glide up under the water and take his leg off. Oh, it's fucking bone chilling.
And then they just show the leg dropping.
Wasn't it like right before we find out that that's where the chief of police, his son, was going to?
Yep.
He wasn't necessarily in the water, but he as far as he knew, his kid could be in that water.
Well, he was.
He was in the water.
He was in the boat. And
I thought he was.
No,
and the boat capsized.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought he was standing on the beach. Still.
That was his younger son. Yeah, the little son was.
Oh, okay, okay. That's what I was thinking of then. Yeah.
Yeah, but and it goes right past his son, like it's had its fill. It has eaten, and it just swims past him.
It like brushes up against him almost.
Yeah,
that's what puts him into shock, is because he saw the death, and then it touches him basically.
Oh. Terrifying.
Yep. The boat body jump scare, that was a good one. I was not prepared for that.
The one that Spielberg paid for himself.
Yep. It was well worth his money. Well worth your money, Steven.
I wrote a note about that when they approach the boat, and the way it's shot from behind the boat, and the lights from Hooper's boat.
The water.
Yeah, it's like shining all through it, and that John Williams score is playing that mysterious music.
It's shot in a pool.
Yeah.
That's just a pool that they shot it in.
They did a good job with it.
Yeah. Smoke and mirrors, my friends. Like, you can tell a lot of stories with some smoke and mirrors.
You talked about foreshadowing with Quint's boat. There's another instance of that as they take off from the dock, where we're seeing from inside Quint's little shark shop, and inside one of the mouths of the shark teeth, the shark bone mouth that he has, that's where the ship is framed going out to sea. In the mouth of a shark.
I didn't notice that. That's awesome. I love that the boat is named the Orca, by the way. Like that.
Yeah.
The mortal enemy of great white sharks. Yep.
I feel like we know that as a culture. I think like we grew up with that fact partially because of this movie.
Probably. One of the other shots that I loved was when they're all drinking and sitting on the boat, and they keep showing Quint just out on the pulpit.
Yeah.
Like, as his arms out, like, level with the horizon and the beautiful colors behind him, and just beautiful framing, beautiful shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have to mention, and this is my last good, and then Keith, you can go to town.
Okay.
When they are showing their scars, Richard Dreyfuss throws his leg up on the table and has a turnout of his foot that would make a prima ballerina cry. That man has perfect turnout. Perfect.
Yeah, I remember you bringing that up like during the scene, and I didn't even think anything of it. And then I looked at it, and I was like, "Yeah, that is kind of a weird angle." Yeah. I mean, it didn't eke me out the same way it did you, but I could definitely I could see what you were talking about because his leg is kind of turned out. But then again, there's a weird thing. Like when I took a yoga class as an elective in college, and one of the things that we learned from the yoga instructor is that men and women, our hips, because of the pelvic bone, they flare out differently. So men can do like that butterfly pose where you sit with your feet flat against each other and you pull your heels into your groin. And women have so maybe like you looking at that, it gave you a visceral reaction that like, I don't know, doing the splits does to a guy.
It's just as somebody who was trained as a ballerina at a young age, that's perfect turnout. That's the turnout that you want. It's very hard to achieve.
Maybe he did ballet.
He might have. I was impressed. It was nothing more than just actual full on being impressed by that turnout.
Oh, I thought the way you talked about it, I thought it kind of like grossed you out a little bit.
No, I was just like, holy shit. Men aren't usually that flexible, first of all.
Well, that certainly calls for a dirty.
So, John Williams, speaking of his score, one of the things that I liked about it is that if you nerd into his music at all, like I do, there are, so when it's got the dun 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 going on, it's everybody kind of assumes that you like, if you were to like snap your fingers on the beat, it would be, it's the offbeat. It's what you're expecting the snare to be on if there was that kind of drum kit behind it. But with this one, he puts the emphasis on the
and then
second
it
and
switches
the fourth
up
beats.
and it goes dun 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 dun.
And the way that he plays with the on and off beats with your head, but he keeps the same rhythm. So it's like it's a way of keeping you unsettled, but also that impending sensation of a heartbeat. And you're kind of teasing whether the heartbeat is getting faster or slower. You're kind of teasing. It's an empathetic response that humans they start to feel that as well. It starts to mess with your internal rhythm, and your body starts to, I don't know. I've been to music classes before where people practice getting their heartbeat in time with the beat that the director is giving you, and that is just. It's cool the way that John Williams does his song, that if you decide to nerd into it, it's fucking deep and complex like a deeper pizza pie.
So if I wanted to spare you guys, I could just sum up my final good as just the final third of this movie. Like the minute they go out on the boat, like almost all the way to the end, I'm like fully on board and in it. The shark is leading them.
Space battle.
Yeah, the shark is leading them further and further out to sea. Quint's growing a realization and almost reverence for this shark when he realizes how smart it is, how big it is. There's that part where he's got 3 of the barrels in him, which are incredibly difficult. You have to be so strong to pull barrels full of air underwater. And he's saying, not with 3 barrels. He can't go down with 3. And then what does it do? It just immediately goes down, and he
starts going down with the whole goddamn ship. It's like, bring your barrels, you and your fucking cousins. We're all going down, motherfucker. That motherfucker had an attitude. Jaws had a fucking attitude.
Oh yeah, and he I
love it.
He wanted them. You know what I mean? Like he was fucking with them the whole time. Waits till they're drunk. Sure. And starts ramming the boat and shit, just fucking with them. A spiteful shark.
He became a Captain Ahab of himself. Like in Moby Dick, it's assumed that the beast doesn't know one ship from another,
right?
Even though Ahab sees that, he understands me and blah 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 blah. Well, in this one, it's pretty fucking. I mean, the Moby Dick comparisons are not too far off, right? I mean, this is just a Moby Dick, except we get 2 heroes that leave, and the reasons why they leave is because they didn't have a personal vendetta. They just wanted to make sure everybody was safe, so that's how they won, is because their hearts were pure.
When he goes down in the cage, right, and Jaws comes and fucks it up, and they're pulling it up. It's like the climactic scene of the movie. They rig that pulley to pull it up, and they get it up just enough to see that it's completely fucked up, and then the rig just immediately falls apart and it plunges back. Something about that tickles me. It's like, well, this
there
is
were moments
fucked.
of dark comedy.
Yeah,
in this, yeah. I've heard somebody describe it as a suspense film first and a dark comedy second, and I'm like, yeah, not a lot, but the beats that are funny, you better have a really bad sense of humor.
Poor Quint's struggle when the shark upends the boat by launching itself onto it, and like he's slipping down, he's holding.
That was gruesome to watch.
He's holding on to Chief Brody, and it's like it's just long enough of him fighting. Like he's got his feet on the mouth where the teeth aren't for a minute, and like pushing back. And I mean, that's untenable. You can't. You know what I mean? That's not gonna last you very long. And he slips right in, and like he's like stabbing it with his machete, like as it's pulling him down. So it is a very Captain Ahab moment for sure. But God, it's just visceral as fuck. And my last note that I wrote down is the line, the smile, you son of a bitch. Because he's got the tank in him, and he's like, "Show me the tank, show me the tank." You know, that's another good. That's
show me the taint.
Yeah, show me the tank.
Isn't that what Freddy said in a New Nightmare?
Yeah,
that is a different movie. That's called Jaws in Ass.
I will say, in agreement with what you were saying, the ending of this movie, it reminded me a lot, and I don't know why, but I mean, under a little bit of reflection, I can see why. At the time, it confused me, but it reminded me of Wrath of Khan, Star Trek II. And Star Trek II is basically naval combat between two ships that are in varying ways of disorder and not entirely functioning, and they're in a nebula, so they can't see each other. And that's like the last half of the movie is the battle between these two ships. And this movie reminded me a lot of that, but in a good way. Some might say in a bad way, because I've heard Wrath of Khan being described as a great Star Trek movie where nothing really happens. It's all just a bunch of little shit that's thrown together like an episode. But everybody fucking loves it because that episode is really, really good. And this reminded, that last half had big time Wrath of Khan, Kirk facing off against Khan vibes.
Kelly, I'm so happy that you found a way to bring Star Trek into this.
Hey, I didn't. Jaws did. I don't know how Jaws did it, but it made me think of Star Trek.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with Jaws, and I think more to do with you, but that's okay.
I don't know. Anybody that's a fan of Wrath of Khan and has seen this movie, like, let me know. I mean, am I alone? Because I think that if somebody that's already a fan of one sees the other, I think you would see what I'm saying. Especially
I feel like I've heard that Wrath of Khan is the Star Trek version of Moby Dick.
Yeah, in a sense, that
tracks.
And that's where the movie actually references Moby Dick several times. So it's like, and the characters like reference Moby Dick in the sense of, well, we don't want to be like Ahab. This is what we should do instead. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's a reaction to Moby Dick. That's why this reminds me of that a bit.
And I mean, I'm out of good. I could probably talk about this movie for another hour, so I'm out of good. I could go off the dome.
My last good then is coastal towns. If you haven't been to a coastal town like this, they can be very, very wonderful. They also can be very, very fucking weird. These people that live in these little tiny towns are very insulated. They are very tourism driven. So a lot of times if you're catching them during tourism season, they are so happy to see you. If you're catching them in the off season, they are so wondering why the fuck you are in their town. And they can be a delightful bunch. But either way, like if you are going up the coast of anywhere on the eastern seaboard, I think, or even like here in Michigan, going up the mitten on one side or something, stop at a lot of these small towns, and they can be just a treasure trove of little mini cultures that are really fucking cool to observe, especially if you're only in town for like a half a day or something. Like, check out the museum. They might have a museum to bow ties because the first bow tie was sold there, or something random like that. And it's so fucking cool to let some old person that's really, really interested in this one random topic, that this was a part of history, that all this stuff came together. All right, I'll listen to you for 20 minutes or a half hour. You can tell me a story about that shit. Cool.
Well, with our good out the way, it's time to do our scene spotlight, everyone.
Oh, that
hey, Jamie, roll it.
Headache. It gives me a headache. I don't want to.
You weren't listening, Jamie.
Okay,
I will roll it.
I'll do it.
Okay. we are going to talk about the scene where Quint recounts the USS Indianapolis going down, and his it's basically his lore, his origin story, his why he hates sharks. But for a little preamble for it, him and Hooper have been at each other's throats the whole time, and this is kind of the Quint opening up scene, and them becoming comrades essentially, because they're drinking together. They start comparing scars, and they're all laughs, and they're having jokes, and it's very male bonding sort of moment. And then Hooper points out a scar on Quint's arm, and he says, "What is that?" And he's like, he gets a little quiet, right? And he's like, "Oh, that's a tattoo that I had removed." And Hooper's still in drunky, jokey mode, and he's like, "Oh, let me guess, mother." And he's cracking up, and Quint's like, has that tight smile on his face now, and he's clammed up a little, and he's like, "That's the USS Indianapolis." And then he recounts the story of how the USS, true story, a historically accurate story of how the USS Indianapolis delivered the Hiroshima bomb, and it was on such a clandestine secret mission that they did not send a distress signal when they were bombed by a Japanese submarine and went down. And I think it's like 700, 800 people went into the water, and over the course of 3 days, aside from dehydration and starvation and hypothermia taking them off, they were surrounded and routinely picked off by a swarm of tiger sharks.
Yeah, the tiger sharks that were like notorious in the area for the carcasses immediately brought them. So the dead seamen that went down with the ship, that immediately brought the tigers to the area. And then as soon as the tigers noticed that there were live people still swimming on the surface, that became playtime for them. And for the next 3 days, it took 4 days total for them to get rescued. And some of them did live through the rescue, like 200 or 300 or something like that still lived. But during that time, there were 100, maybe. They don't know for sure, but anywhere between like 80 and 110 seamen that were just picked off one by one and toyed with by the swarm of tiger sharks that were right below them. And it was just random chance if they picked you and took you down. Yep. And that being a true story. Yeah, that being a true story really, really sits with me as a instance of karmic retribution. They delivered the atom bomb to be used on Hiroshima, and this is what happens when you do something so atrocious. Isn't it nice to think of a world that kind of karma exists?
Right. That's
like all the time.
That's part of why I glom onto that, because it's so compelling as like I guess that's what you get. And even Quint implies it, because he tells the story and then he kind of smacks his lips and he's like, "Yeah, well, we delivered the bomb." And that's all he says. That's how he ends the story. Like he's feeling
200,000 people died overnight because of you.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's very poignant. It's a very well acted scene. Like I 100% buy Quint's emotion and like trauma at this event. It explains a lot about him. It explains why he hates sharks. He says he'll never put on a life vest again. He's gonna die at sea. This which comes to fruition. I don't know. It's just a great little scene.
Well, technically he dies before he gets completely submerged in the water.
Why do you do this?
Okay, well, potato.
Less dying at sea, more dying in the mouth.
And is he in the sea if he's in the belly?
Yeah.
If he's in the belly, does that count?
Yeah, well, he gets blown up.
He gets blown up like 30 seconds later anyway, right, so it doesn't matter.
He's a little in the sea over here. He's a little in the sea over there.
I mean, I don't know how much more to say about it other than that's fucking bone chilling that this actually happened to people. The karma element to it. I don't know. Yeah. So that's our scene spotlight.
All right, now with that out of the way, it's time to talk about the bad.
I've got some bad.
I've got a few.
Keith, do you even have bad?
I do. I have 2 bads.
I noticed that after the first couple of attacks, they're walking through one of the buildings that I assume is either the town hall or the police department, just one of the official government buildings. They all kind of blend together after a while. And there is a chalkboard in the background, and there's a cartoon drawing of a cartoon shark devouring a child.
Quint drew that.
Yeah.
Quint drew that.
Jesus
there
Christ.
was, if you notice, when they walk in...
I did not notice that it was Quint that drew it, but I was just like, what the fuck is that?
There's nothing on the board when they walk in, and then Quint's the one sitting by the chalkboard, and he gets all their attention by dragging his nails across the chalkboard.
Which is in my bed.
Yeah, that was
rough.
If that was in real life, first off, it wouldn't be that loud. Secondly, his nails would have popped off if he would have tried that. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It gave me the shivers.
This movie should come with a trigger warning, not for all the violence, for that sound so long.
That's pretty rough.
My first bad note is drunk men letting women down since time immemorial.
Fair, yeah.
If you're talking about his third wife's Demise, I don't want to hear about it.
I'm talking about the drunk dude that follows the chick out to the water, gets so drunk he passes out on the shore while she dies.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for Whiskey Dick, huh?
Right?
Right? That guy
saved that guy's life.
Yep. He woke up in the morning and was like, whew, wow.
Dodge
like
the
I
bullet
said,
there.
Jesus.
Drunk men letting women down.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Tom Cruise.
Life began.
Look, we've all been there, okay?
Well, let's say that the man not being able to perform was the least of her worries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Still letting her down.
Yeah, maybe it would have taken him instead if he'd made it out there, you know?
Right.
So.
She could have survived.
Speaking of a cheap scare, when we see that underwater body, there is this loud, piercing, scream-esque noise that happens along with it. And I feel like, okay, we were talking about the heartbeat earlier, and that's subtle enough, if done well, that, especially like in the music, brilliant, mwah, chef's kiss. But when you literally have the sound that you want your audience to make as a track over your media that you're making, that is like, how is that different than like a laugh track in a sitcom?
That was Hooper screaming underwater at seeing the body.
Yeah, that's not how, no, it was like, I don't know. It felt like an overdubbed scream, like a woman's scream that he wanted to hear from the audience. Like,
I challenge you to go. I challenge you to go watch it again.
I watched it again today.
Okay.
I watched it again today,
right.
And I still find it like
it's bubbly and it's gurgly.
It's a little too much. It felt like a scream queen scream.
Yeah, fair.
In a position where he's got shit in his mouth. He's all like, maybe
he had
it would come
shit
out,
in his mouth. Oh my
something.
God, I missed that part.
Again, dirty.
Well, pieces of shit for breakfast. He had to get creative. And my last bad, honestly, I'll just close it out now, is the captain breaking the fucking radio. I hate it. I know it's a story element, but God, I hated him so bad that I had to write it down. I had to take out on my.
Isn't it infuriating?
And
yes.
Jesus, I don't know if I would have just taken the bat and beat the fuck out of him, but you need him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, Jesus. That's why I said as soon as we get back to shore, handcuffs. You're going in fucking handcuffs, old man.
The engine is dying. This giant monster shark is chasing you, and that's your fucking plan. Like,
Mayday, mayday, bam, bam, bam.
Cool. If you want to die, that's cool, but I don't want to die.
Yeah, like they're stranded out in the middle of the fucking... we're talking about the ocean. This isn't a big lake. We're in the fucking ocean.
So, this is a two-parter because the overallness of it is in the ugly, but there's that one scene where the mayor is more concerned about the vandalism of the sign than he is with the shark killing people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's...
Well, is that not telling?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Like right now, you have people in positions of power that are upset about the way that people describe an ongoing genocide rather than admitting that it's a fucking genocide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that has not changed at all in 41 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Depressing, ain't it?
And my one bad about the actual film and the construction of the film is that I do like that they included the shots and I understand why, but there's a clear difference between the shots of an actual shark and the machine known as Bruce that was the mechanical shark.
Yeah, there are times where it's bending and you can see folds in the skin that are obviously just whatever they're like leather or whatever it was for the
mechanical one. Its head is fat and wide and monstrous looking, and then we see a real shark and it's that, very svelte point nose. Yeah.
But you know what? Not bad.
Yeah. It's fine.
It's kind of like I've watched Star Wars, A New Hope, and I see the two men wiggling their sticks at each other, and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, right.
That's a different movie again, Kelly. You're watching on a different channel.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you suspend your disbelief. You go, yeah, that sucks. I can look past it because otherwise the movie is just fine.
But you notice
seeing the folds and the shark skin. It's fine. I get it because they nailed it more than they failed it. So, cool.
I have two more bads. One, the slap that Keith is talking about is so slow and calm, and she delivers the lines so calmly. It doesn't even come off as shock. It comes off as, I'm told to do this, so I'm going to slap you. Very elegantly, and then I'm going to slowly deliver my line. It bothered me.
I get what you're saying, and that's a totally valid perception of it. I took it as like she doesn't. It's a formality. This is something that she was raised, that she has to go and see this man in public and give him a slap and tell him that he let her down and tell him how. You know, like it looked to me like that's why she got dressed up to do it. I mean, it's not just the funeral. It's like it was part of this process that she was taught that when somebody wrongs you in this way, this is the polite but strong thing to do, to let them know that, you know, I someday I may forgive you, but right now you failed me. Slap and walk away with your head held high. So yeah, I get that it felt plastic.
I want my slaps to be more passionate.
Oh, I get you. And it felt like to me like the slap was just to physically slap him in front of people. It wasn't to actually make him hurt. The slap could have been even weaker and it still would have hurt him just as much.
And then my second one is Chekhov's compressed air.
Oh yeah, I almost said that earlier when we were talking about it. Yeah, it's like you handle these roughs, they'll blow up.
It's so clear. Yep. It's so clear.
Well, instantaneously, I was like, boom.
They also had the Chekhov's pistol that he always carried with him that never really came into play. I thought he was going to shoot the compressed air with the pistol. I thought that's how it was going to end. And then he picked up the rifle right before the end, and I'm like, well, he did. Of course. Of course there's a rifle right there.
He shot the shark a couple of times when it was going on.
Yeah, I know, but it didn't do anything. That's what I'm saying. Like, his pistol was it was red herring.
Yeah.
So.
Those are my last two bads.
All right.
So I'm done, yeah.
We're all out of bad. It's time to see if we can talk about some ugly.
I only have one.
Let's hear it.
Capitalism.
Oh yeah, fuck capitalism. I wasn't laughing at you. I laughing at my own note. But yeah, fuck capitalism because like we're gonna put these people at danger so that we can get more money into town and put more people at danger.
Right. Like, who cares about the kids and the women and the dogs and the everything? I need to have a successful beach season. Fuck that.
Yep.
We need more stores in our stores.
That's my main ugly as well, and it's I just wrote the mayor and like everything that encompanies that. You know, we need to keep these beaches open. Tourism is our bread and butter. Complete disregard for human life. And
so what I'm hearing from both of you is that you're totally in support of we need to have more disclosure about the UAP files.
I don't know why do you do this?
We don't want the government pulling the wool in front of.
Why do you do this?
No, I'm right there with you. I didn't write it in my uglies, but yeah, fuck him. He's the number 2 villain.
He might be the number 1 villain because the number 1 villain in the movie by Jaws would not have power if there weren't people in the water.
Yeah, I mean, there is that point to be made that what if everybody listened to it and they just closed down the beach? I saw this tweet that was going back and forth the other day, and I'm sorry, this is a long episode, but I'm going to do it anyway. There's this tweet going back and forth. Somebody was making fun of a House MD episode, and they said, House gets something wrong 3 times in a row, and then on the 4th time, he magically pulls something out of his ass, and then the patient is healed. Rinse and repeat for 8 seasons. And Hugh Laurie said something like, well, yeah, if you want to boil it down to that, then people should look at the fact that Frida painted 50 self-portraits, and Chopin wrote 17 arias, and blah, 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 blah. And it was like, you know, if all this is to you,
I think I saw one of his tweets. Didn't he also say, he's like, yeah, well, we tried the script where we got it right the first time, and it wasn't very interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I think that those shows that were never meant to be watched in a binge, the binge points it out. Because you're like, oh, okay, I know exactly what this, because it is very formulaic.
The formula comes apparent, yeah.
Yeah.
But House getting it right within the first 5 minutes is a fucking boring show. House getting it wrong 4 times in a row and the patient dying over and over again is a really fucking boring and depressing show. So like he's like, that's a formula that works with people. And he gets it right most of the time. He doesn't get it right every time.
And it was written to be watched once a week.
Yeah, exactly. Not 7 episodes in one sitting.
Right.
My only ugly is, and it made me chuckle because it just deserves, I couldn't think of anything else to put in the uglies, so this is another one of my kind of token uglies. But when the shark is finally like sighted, and I think it was after the second attack, and they're blowing the whistles and everybody out of the water. And at one point there's this little girl that the camera keeps focusing on, and she's right in the foreground, and she's on like a raft, and the raft is like between her legs, and she's like paddling on either side.
Is it the guy who like shoves her off?
Yeah, this teenage boy, I mean, he's probably 15, 16, just literally comes up from behind her, picks her up, and throws her in the water, and takes her raft and starts pedaling up to the, I'm like,
that's hilarious.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, I hope you burn in fucking hell.
That shit totally would happen. That shit totally happens.
Yeah, oh my god, I have a hard time, like, we're both going down with the shark, motherfucker. I'm gonna go down just for spite. I'm gonna hold you down, and we're both going with it.
Right, it's hilarious to me, just like someone's freaking out so bad. It's like, fuck you, little girl. Like,
fuck you, kid.
Yeet. He just yeet right off the fucking raft. Like,
yeah, it's
we don't, and it's like, we don't even see the girl land. She just flies off screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
he might have thrown her right in the fucking mouth of Jaws.
So to close this out, we're all out of uglies, right? And that's nothing. All right, so I just want to say that as I've been a lifelong horror fan. I think I was 4 years old the first time I watched The Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Oh my god!
And Little Shop of Horrors. And I was very little when I saw Jaws. I saw the TV edit of it, so there's no blood or anything. But I saw Jaws and I loved it. And when we went to the beach, I think I was maybe 5 years old, 6 years old, something like that. And I'm going out in the water, and they're like, "Hey, be safe, and don't get too far out." And I'm like, "I'm fine." And they're like, "Well, you want to be close and be safe where you can always hear us and see us. What if Jaws is out there and trying to get you?" And I thought about it for a second, and I was like, well, when I see his fin and I hear his music, I'll get out of the water. It's like you idiot, like that. That was
like, obviously.
Yeah. You start hearing music.
I wouldn't just stand there while the music's going da-da at me.
And you're a kid, so you're so stupid that you hear the music and you're like, the beats are on the 1 and the 3. So that can't be the real Jaws. It should be on the 2 and the 4, and you don't realize that it's John Williams. Aha! Yet again, fucking with you.
At least once a year, my aunts recount that story to me because they that was my attitude. Like, well, if I see his fucking fin and hear his music, I'm not staying in the water. What do you think? I'm stupid?
Right.
It fucked with me though. My mom, like I said, she had very few VHSs like back in the day when they were very expensive, and this is one that she went out and bought. And this was totally a her movie. I never watched this as a child. And but I still was very aware of it, and I saw it in the background a few times. There's a reason why I didn't watch it all the way through, because I saw a few scenes that freaked me out. We had a pool in my backyard, and my mom made sure that she took me to get my lifeguard license. I had my lifeguard license by the time I was like 11 or 12 or something like that. Is when you're supposed to start.
More Kelly, more dropping.
Yeah, I randomly, it's been a long time, so I probably don't do as well now as I used to. But I used to be a really good swimmer. But even going in the pool in the backyard in Detroit, and it's like a 4-foot above ground pool. And like, we don't have lights, so when it's nighttime, if I go for a swim, I can't see what's in the water, and I would get freaked out sometimes because of Jaws the movie.
That you hadn't even watched.
I knew logically there's nothing in this water, nothing that's actually living underwater.
There's not a shark
clean it out
in
every
this
day.
pool.
There's nothing. Yeah. There's not even a goldfish in this water right now.
Yeah. Well, that's what Psycho made people scared to get in the shower, and Jaws literally made people scared to go to the beach for a summer.
Yep.
Like,
that's one of the big draws, is that you can go to movie theaters where you can sit in a pool and watch Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
And people are freaked out by the thought.
Mm-hmm.
Those are our thoughts on Jaws from 1975. If you're living under a rock and don't know anything about it, well, I hope you had a good time learning about it for the first time with us. If you've seen it before, did you agree with us? Did you disagree with us? Let us know. Send us a comment, send us an email, send us a strongly worded letter. Post Office Box 69 420 67, Anytown, USA 12345.
Kelly.
Yes, to Kelly with an IE. That's she likes getting mail. Yeah. But those are our general thoughts on it. But now is the point in the show where we ask ourselves 3 + 1 questions, which some people would consider 4 questions, but I prefer to look at them as 3 + 1 questions. The first of the 3 questions of which is, if you were to replace every human actor in this movie with a Muppet except for one, who would the remaining human be?
Quint.
It's Quint. Yeah, it's obviously Quint. There's no question. Yelling at a bunch of Muppets
as they're all dying. Well, I mean, is Jaws Muppet then too?
Well, Jaws is basically Muppet now.
He already is, yeah.
I mean,
much.
But do you fully fuzz him up and make him?
Well, think about the alligator Muppet from the Muppet movie, right? And how realistic and good it looks. You do it in that style, and there's your Jaws Muppet.
So Jaws is just eating the fuck out of Muppets left and right. That's what I want that, and I'm just making sure that's what we're getting to, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, because every time
just yelling at everybody.
Can we just adapt it so more Muppets die then? Because I think they would have great one-liners right as they're going.
Oh, sure.
You know, that's where a lot of the humor would be.
The crew on the boat would have to be bigger.
Statler and Waldorf have to be at the beach, like remarking about the attacks as they're happening. You know.
Oh, a little piece of trivia I read that this is just a randomly placed in the middle of our questions, but you're going to need a bigger boat line didn't land with test audiences, so they actually added a lot more footage there to give the audience time because they had just got done screaming from the last thing, so it gave them time to calm down, and then he put that pause in there, and then he turned up the volume a lot so that you can hear him clearly say, "You're going to need a bigger boat."
Oh, so like him slowly backing into the cabin is probably
that was cut in the first
right?
shot. Yeah, the first cut didn't have that in. It went right from him seeing it to backing up saying, "You're going to need a bigger boat," but that people were screaming over it. Nobody caught it, and Spielberg knew it was a really good. It was a really good line. So,
I demand the next question.
You demand the next question?
I do.
Go ahead.
If this movie were in theaters today, what would be its popcorn bucket?
A Jaws head.
Yep, it's like the poster. Yeah, 100%.
See,
yeah.
I think that it's the boat, the orca.
That's too complex. Although they did have, I saw
the boat can be the nachos and cheese.
Did you not see the Masters of the Universe popcorn bucket / drink holder?
Oh Jesus, that thing is so bad. It's
is that Castle Grayskull?
Yeah,
it's the sword.
It's the whole sword.
Different
it's
parts
waterproof,
unscrew.
so like you fill it and then you like swing it around and it's got your pop in it. Like no, thank you.
Any popcorn? There's a spot for popcorn. Yeah.
There is an
I was like, give me the
Walker.
sword, but don't put any fucking. You put pop in that, we're gonna throw hands. You don't put any pop in my.
For Mandalorian and Grogu, there is an Imperial Walker filled with popcorn.
The boat could totally do it.
I wanted it so bad. The sucker was $80. I had to settle for the $30 Mandalorian cup.
All right. Our next question is, what is your MVP, your most valuable part? Could be a person, could be the person playing the person, or it could be something like the set dressing or the way a food looked in a scene. But what's your MVP? Jamie.
You always start with me when it's hard. I am going to shut up. That just popped in my brain what I said.
I can hear the dirty before it happens. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Because I know that other people will pick the other things that I'm thinking, I am going with Quint. I don't think the movie is done without him.
Absolutely not.
It's one-dimensional without him, maybe two-dimensional, but he adds that decisive third chaotic element. He's the Joker.
He adds the flavor.
Movie. Yep. Yeah, he's more chaotic than the shark is. You know what the shark's going to do. You have no idea what Quint's going to do.
Right. Keith.
My MVP is the busted shark not working because I feel it saved the movie.
I can see that.
Necessity is the father of invention. Like,
yep.
How many times have we seen that where, and even in my own personal creative endeavors, sometimes like a deadline that's rushing or you're lacking a certain material that you would use, so you have to use something else instead. Yep. Brilliance is born in those moments sometimes. Not all the time.
Sometimes you're totally fucked, but sometimes you pull something out of your ass that's amazing.
Sometimes you're trying to make a Christmas present out of a coat hanger and it ain't gonna happen.
A what?
You know, you never did that? Like as a child, try to bend, like you just have random items around your house?
I was just thinking
Jesus.
I was thinking about tasteless jokes, like I guess it depends on what state you're in.
Yeah,
if that's a good gift or
I
not.
realize that's not, I meant just random items around the house that you put together and try to make a present out of because you told your mom you were going to get her something for Mother's Day and you're a little kid and you can't drive to the store.
Right.
Yeah, my MVP is going to be John Williams. I think he sold this movie in a way, and like he surprised me that I was expecting to just hear that theme and have it stay out of the way, but no, John Williams took center stage with. He always does with his theme.
Yeah, he makes every like Star Wars was not Star Wars if you don't have fucking John Williams.
E.T. is not E.T. Fucking,
right.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones is not Indiana Jones.
And he is
100%.
And he was the other one that I was going back and forth with, and that's why I picked Quint, because I knew you'd pick him. So.
And here we are in the year of our Lord 2020 whatever, and they're still using the Superman theme. It's that iconic.
Yep.
And it's just an open interval with like a horn solo, but it's so simple, much like Jaws is simple, but it tells a story because it becomes complex. But the basic theme, you can walk out of the theater. He's a master at doing what he does. Like if you told me that there was a new TV series and John Williams was the composer for the TV series, I'd be like, ooh, risky. I'll give it a chance, but I don't know how well he'd do at that form. But at a film, immediate sell. Like I don't care what the movie is about. I'll watch it just because John Williams is doing the fucking soundtrack, because this is exactly what his music is made for. And he's brilliant. He's a prodigy. He's one in a million, one in a billion kind of guy. So.
I just want to point out before you get before you get to your last question, I just had a thought, and it's that I believe this is going to come out the week after June 20th, and June 20th is the original release date of Jaws into theaters in 1975. Ooh. So there's a little bit of a timely occurrence with this.
Wow, and so here we are recording this in January of 2012. I hope life is good in the 2020s.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And I will be in Alabama when it comes out. Yeehaw.
Oh,
maybe I'll be on the beach.
I'm sorry.
Dun dun. Dun dun.
Don't go in the water.
Oh, I'm going.
The beach is closed.
I'm going in the water. I don't care if the beach is closed or not. I'm going in.
So those are 3 questions. But none of those questions really matter, because the only question that really matters is, when it comes to Jaws, did you like it? And would you give it a thumbs up?
You really want to do this? Here. Now? Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's do it!
2 thumbs up. I think it's a masterpiece. It's in my top 3 movies. I don't have any more. I can't be any more positive about it. I absolutely love this movie.
Can you be any more positive?
No,
Aww,
I can't.
Chandler, rest in peace.
But no, yeah. Obviously, if you somehow haven't seen Jaws, like these 2 weirdos sitting across from me, what are you doing here? Stop listening and go watch it. It's a fucking great movie. What about you, Jamie?
I liked it. It is a thumbs up for me. I'm not as exuberant about it as Keith. I think he's got some nostalgia glasses on it, but it's a good movie. It's fun to watch. Definitely worth watching once. Kel?
Yeah, my thoughts almost entirely mimicked yours, Jamie. I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Perfect.
So that means that we technically are giving it a perfect rating, but that feels like a bit of a misread, because like it's thumbs up. Like it's not a tentative thumbs up. It's like on an A to E scale, it's like solid B plus, A minus. Like it was fun. I don't know if I'd watch it again. Maybe parts of it. Like, and the funny thing is, like, the parts I might enjoy are the parts that are not involving the shark. The parts that are like the little character beats and the stories and the things how they interact with each other. The what? All that kind of shit. Like, those are the things I'll enjoy. The shark bits, I mean, I'm glad I watched it because it was good, so that's why I'm giving it a thumbs up. But it's not. I think you're wearing a little bit of nostalgia I think a lot of people.
Of course,
are wearing a lot of nostalgia with this.
I think if you had seen this to completion as a child, you might be sitting in the same proverbial boat.
No, I'd have been terrified.
Hell, I was terrified and I never saw it. There's a reason why I didn't really approach a lot of horror movies, because even as a child, I didn't appreciate that sensation. It made me too actually afraid. Well, yeah, and that's like I don't know about.
You didn't need horror in your life.
I don't need to experience.
You are the horror.
Terror. I had other places that I
be
could
the horror
terror.
that you want to see in the world. That's what I say.
I am.
Just be a horror.
Be the horror
that
horror. You want to see in the world. Yeah.
Just make it short and quick. Be a horror.
Okay, fair.
There enough. You go. That's horror with an extra ER. Horror.
Horror.
Is that like the 7
Anyways, and I guess how long is this episode? We're definitely past an hour, my compadres.
Yeah. Yes.
So I thank you for bringing this to my attention. Of all the retro, ancient, free pick movies you could have picked, you made me watch a classic. So, oh God, twist my arm. Oh no, I get to watch a Steven Spielberg classic with a John Williams score and see Richard Dreyfuss and Roy Schneider.
Decent acting, yeah, right.
Like it was good. It was good all around. So I'm glad I watched it. Next week we are finishing out our retro/ancient free pick with Jamie. And from what I understand, a little birdie told me that Jamie has already made her decision.
I have. And I'm from Michigan. And we know that Eminem is from Michigan. And Eminem tells me that I only got one shot, so I cannot miss my chance to blow.
We're watching 8 Mile?
No. We are watching the ultimate classic, the #1 movie on a lot of lists of the top 100 movies of all time.
Citizen Kane?
Gone with the Wind. The #1 movie kiss of all time.
Can we compromise and we'll just watch that video of the train coming out of the tunnel that scared all the people?
Can we shorten it and just watch like Gone Girl?
No. No, you are going to watch Vivian Lee prance around all of fake Georgia, and Clark Gable be manly man, and Leslie Howard be completely pathetic, and I never understood why they cast him.
Is there an intermission in this mini series that you're making?
There is. There is actually an intermission in the movie. Like when you watch the movie, there's an intermission.
So like I'm used to watching musicals, and there have been times before where I've thought about making us watch Hamilton, and Hamilton is 3.5 hours if you take both acts into account. That's not a substandard time or that's pretty common to see a musical last about 3.5, maybe 4 hours for some of the longer ones. So, I mean, I joke. It should be fine. It should be fine.
You will be awake, Keith.
If you're going to demand somebody's eyes and ears for 4 hours, and I'm talking about the movie producers and the people that made the movie, if you're going to demand my attention for 4 hours, you better fill that 4 hours with stuff like, I better not at the end of it going, well, there were a lot of scenes that dragged and a lot of stuff that didn't need to happen, because then I'm going to be a little bit more pissed because you're playing with my time.
You're more likely to be like, I don't understand how we went from X to Y, and I'll be like, that was in the book, and they could not fit the whole book on the screen, or it would be 16 hours long.
Well, we'll see, and who knows? I might love it. I enjoyed Out of the Past when we watched it. So
just the time commitment is
I will tell you
just shy. Yeah.
That when I told my ex that I was going to make you guys watch this, he was like, do you hate them?
It's the classic chick flick. It's a classic like time commitment. It's like reading War and Peace because you're dating a girl that's into literature. Like, oh God, you're taking up that? Okay, good luck. Have fun. Because like also like we got to pay attention for all 4 hours. It's not like I could just be present in the room while I'm scrolling on fucking Twitter on my phone. No, I have to watch and take notes. Yeah.
I can literally recite the movie with you. To you while we watch it.
Jamie, please. Why are you doing this to us? We are your friends.
That's why I'm doing it to you. Right there.
No!
That's all right.
Since we're already in this... we're already in this hell of our own design, Kelly. Can I get a frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn as Arnold Schwarzenegger, please?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a shit.
Fiddle-dee-dee.
And on that note, for Screen Share and Chill, I'm Kelly.
I'm Keith.
I'm Jamie, and I'll think about that tomorrow.
Friends don't make friends commit 4 hours to a bad movie, so we'll see.
No, I won't. I'm not. I'm committing you to one of the best movies ever.
And just remember, folks, when you see his fin and hear his music, get out of the water.
But up until then, if you just see a fin and you're in a body of water that there's no music,
it's fine.
Probably fine. Yeah.
Or if you hear the music and see no fin, you're good.
Or you can not take oceanographic advice from fucking podcasts, film comedy review shows. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to call the police.
You go ahead, call them. Call anybody you want. They can't do anything to me. Not anymore. And Lord can't.